निकल रहा है. Hello and welcome. You're watching Express News, where we bring you a quick wrap-up of all that's making news from around the world. I'm Samriddhi Goel. Let's get started. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched IRIS, or Infrastructure for Resilient Island States, in Glasgow, Scotland, in the presence of leaders from several countries. On this occasion, the Prime Minister said the launch of the Infrastructure for Resilient Island States fills us with new hope and beliefs. This gives us the satisfaction to do something for the most vulnerable nations. The Prime Minister said the past few decades have proven that nobody remains untouched by effects of climate change, be it developed nations or nations that are rich in natural resources. It's a huge threat. The Prime Minister said that small island developing states are most threatened with climate change. For them, it's a matter of life and death, a challenge to their existence. The Prime Minister added that calamities due to climate change can become devastation for them. India's space agency, ISRO, will build a special data window for small island developing states. Now with this, SIDS will continue to get timely information about cyclones, coral reef monitoring and coastline monitoring through satellite. The Prime Minister said, guessing the threat of climate change on small island developing states, India made special arrangements for cooperation with Pacific Islands and CARICOM countries. India trained their citizens in solar technologies and made continuous contributions for development. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison thanked India and UK for their leadership of the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, or the CDRI. Prime Minister of Mauritius Pravind Jugnauth welcomed the launch of the Infrastructure for the Resilient Island States initiative and said his country is proud to be associated with it. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a bilateral meeting with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky in Glasgow, Scotland. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also held a bilateral meeting with Nepal's Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deva in Glasgow, Scotland. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today held a bilateral meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Naftali Bennett on the sidelines of the COP26 climate summit in Glasgow. The PM said that people of India deeply value the friendship with Israel. He added that both of them would continue working together for stronger bilateral ties and for a better planet. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi also met Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates on the sidelines of COP26 climate summit in Glasgow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold a review meeting with districts having low vaccination coverage tomorrow at 12 noon through video conferencing. The meeting will include districts with less than 50% coverage of the first dose and low coverage of the second dose of the COVID vaccine. Defence Acquisition Council, headed by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, today approved proposals worth 7,965 crore rupees for armed forces modernization under Make in India. The Ministry of Defence said that the major projects cleared by Defence Acquisition Council include 12 light utility helicopters from HAL and Lynx U-2 fire control systems from Bell to enhance detection, tracking and engagement capabilities of the naval warships. DAC ALOS gave approval for mid-life upgradation of Dornier aircraft from HAL to increase naval capacity of the coastal surveillance. Special PMLA court in Mumbai sent former Maharashtra Minister Anil Deshmukh to ED custody till November 6 in connection with extortion and money laundering case. The Income Tax Department has provisionally attached various properties worth hundreds of crore rupees across Maharashtra, Delhi and Goa linked to Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar. The properties are attached by Income Tax Department under Benami Act. The nation celebrates the 6th Ayurveda Day today, with the theme this year being Ayurveda for Poshan. In an event at the National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur, Union Minister for Ayush Sarbanand Sonowal unveiled a slew of initiatives by Ayurveda institutes across the country. On the second day of the Ganga Utsav, Union Tourism and Culture Minister G. Kishan Reddy and Union Minister of State for Jal Shakti Prahlad Singh Patel participated in the program. Addressing the event, G. Kishan Reddy said that the Ganga mission must not just remain a government initiative, it must become a public movement. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted the people on the occasion of Dhanteras. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said, "Greetings to everyone on the special occasion of Dhanteras." The 30-share Sensex on Tuesday dropped 109 points to end at 60,029. The Nifty 50 also declined 41 points to end at 17,889. Gold prices on Tuesday declined by 107 rupees at the MCX to end at 47,796 rupees per 10 gram. Silver prices also fell by 196 rupees at the MCX to end at 64,596 rupees per kilogram. The Indian rupee gained 19 paise to end at 74.68 provisional against the US dollar. Crude oil was trading 10 rupees or 0.16% below to end at 6,283 rupees per barrel. Prices of fuel were hiked again on Tuesday for the 7th consecutive day. Petrol prices were hiked by 35 paise to reach highest record level of 110.04 rupees per litre in Delhi, while in Mumbai it is selling at 115.85 rupees per litre. However, diesel prices remained unchanged on Tuesday. Diesel is selling at 98.42 rupees per litre in the national capital. In Mumbai, diesel is selling at 106.62 rupees per litre. The Secretary of Department of Investment and Public Asset Management, or DIPAM, Tuhin Kanta Pandey, has said that the centre has received 178 crore rupees as dividend tranche from Uranium Corporation of India. DIPAM Secretary added that the Union Government has also received 104 crore rupees from Rights Limited and 53 crore rupees from the Solar Energy Corporation of India as the dividend tranches. With the administration of 52,39,444 vaccine doses in the last 24 hours, India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has exceeded 106.85 crore per provisional reports till 7 a.m. today. The recovery of 15,021 patients in the last 24 hours has increased the cumulative tally of recovered patients since the beginning of the pandemic to 3,36,83,581. Consequently, India's recovery rate stands at 98.21%. Less than 50,000 daily new cases being reported for 128 consecutive days now. 10,423 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. The active caseload is currently at 1,53,776 and is the lowest in 250 days. Active cases presently constitute 0.45% of the country's total positive cases, which is lowest since March 2020. The testing capacity across the country continues to be expanded. The last 24 hours saw a total of 10,09,045 tests being conducted. Now, India has so far conducted over 61.02 crore cumulative tests. While testing capacity has been enhanced across the country, weekly positivity rate at 1.16% remains less than 2% for the last 39 days now. The daily positivity rate reported to below 0.03%. The daily positivity rate has remained below 2% for the last 29 days and below 3% for 64 consecutive days now. COVID-19 continues to batter the world, with number of cases rising in several countries, including Russia and China. So far, the virus has infected more than 24 crore 79 lakh people across the world. The number of recoveries from COVID-19 has crossed 22 crore 46 lakh worldwide, while the fatalities stand above 50 lakh 21,000. The United States remains the worst affected, with higher number of cases and the death toll. The country has over 4 crore 69 lakh cases and has lost more than 7 lakh 67,000 lives so far to COVID-19. As China also sees spiraling up cases of COVID-19, the country has stepped up entry and exit in the capital Beijing in a bid to contain the spread of the disease. Beijing has asked its residents who are on a domestic trip outside Beijing to put off their return plans if they have visited locations that have reported confirmed cases during the same period. COVID-19 ravages across Russia, with the number of cases and death toll breaching its own 24-hour records. Russia has already imposed restrictions to stem the surge in the number of cases. Several hospitals in the country's capital, Moscow, are over-flooded, with patients facing a crunch of oxygen supply. Israel has eased restrictions on international travel, allowing vaccinated foreign tourists to visit the country first time after 18 months. Israel has permitted only vaccinated tourists who have received their COVID-19 vaccine jab in the last 6 months, with some exceptions such as humanitarian or medical needs. Thailand has removed a mandatory quarantine for tourist. Crowds of passengers went through disease control and documents check at Suvarnabhumi airport. Under the new travel rules, the country has allowed a quarantine-free travel to vaccinated foreign passengers. The travellers will be required to spend their first night in a pre-approved hotel and receive a negative COVID-19 test before they are able to travel freely in the country. The Southeast Asian nation approved visitors from more than 60 countries, including China and the United States. Authorities of the Drug Control Police in Costa Rica seized 2,575 packages of cocaine in a container on a pier in the coastal city of Limon. According to official statement, each one of the 2,575 packages contained 1 kilogram of apparent cocaine, and they were all traveling inside black backpacks. United States President Joe Biden on Monday sought to assure world leaders that the United States would keep its promise to slash greenhouse gas emissions by more than half by the end of the decade, even as key policies to ensure those reductions remain uncertain. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres told the world leaders that humanity was digging its own grave with an addiction to fossil fuels at the COP26 climate summit in Glasgow on Monday. Guterres said greater ambition and action was needed to keep to the goal of holding average temperature rises to 1.5 degrees Celsius, a level scientists say would avoid the most destructive consequences of global warming. People who earn a living from fishing in the English Channel battened down the hatches on Monday for an escalation of a Franco-British row over fishing licenses that they anticipate will be costly on all sides. France alleges Britain is not honouring a post-Brexit deal on access to British fishing grounds, and has said that from midnight on Monday, November 1st, it will retaliate by stepping up checks on trucks coming from Britain and barring British trawlers from docking in the French ports. Tracking data from marine traffic in the English Channel on Monday afternoon showed that most of the French fishing fleet was staying close to their shorelines. A luxury residential high-rise under construction in Nigeria's commercial capital Lagos collapsed on Monday, trapping several workers under a pile of concrete rubble. Possibly 100 people were at work when the building came down crashing at the site of an affluent neighborhood of Ikoyi. Excavators dug through the rubble and twisted metal wires. It was not immediately clear what caused the collapse. As Mexico celebrates the Day of the Dead, a group of demonstrators dressed as traditional Catrina skeleton in Mexico City marched on Monday to bring attention to femicides and gender violence. Relatives of femicide victims, gender violence survivors, organizations and feminist collectives organized and marched through the iconic Reforma Avenue in the March of the Catrinas. Mexico City's Zocalo welcomes dead and undead visitors for Day of the Dead celebrations on Monday. Tourists from around the world have come to witness one of the country's most colorful celebrations. The offerings traditionally include photographs of the dead along with marigold flowers, cempasúchil to guide the souls to the foods and drinks they enjoyed in life. The offerings are open to the public from October 31st till today. With giant kites soaring the skies, the Guatemalan community of Santiago, Zacatepeques, commemorated its traditional Day of the Dead celebration on Monday. Handmade out with paper, striking designs, the 20-meter kites took months to complete. Traditionally, the festival is held in the community cemetery, but due to COVID-19 restrictions this year, 8 of these giant kites were raised on the soccer field of the municipal stadium. Visitors were granted access for a limited amount of time. Voodoo rituals surrounded by the cemeteries of Port-au-Prince as Haitians honored their deceased relatives for Day of the Dead ceremonies on Monday. Music and dance are essential to the rite of communicating. With Gede, the spirit people pray to as they leave offerings of flowers, bread, rum and coffee. In Saudi Arabia, 36-year-old Mona Al-Khourais is bending the rules of society by making her mark in the weapon training sector, a domain dominated by men. Now she has turned her passion for guns into her profession, receiving coaching in Saudi and abroad to become a licensed firearms trainer. The 36-year-old now teaches shooting at Top Gun firing range in Riyadh, with more and more women joining her classes. Archaeologists have excavated the first in what they believe is the oldest industrial wine press in northern Mesopotamia, modern-day Dohak in Iraq, dating back more than 2,700 years and coinciding with a vast increase in wine demand among the ruling imperial elite of Assyria. The discovery includes 14 installations carved into mountain rocks. The upper square-shaped basins were used by people to press grapes underfoot, extracting the juice which ran off into the lower circular basins. The scientists are taking space studies on a different level. They are panning to detect the existence of life on other planets through a telescope. On land adjacent to the Las Campanas Observatory, an international consortium of universities and scientific institutions is building the giant Magellan telescope, which will have a resolution 10 times greater than that of the Hubble Space Telescope. The $1.8 billion complex is expected to begin operations by the end of the decade. The GMT will have 7 of today's largest rigid monolithic mirrors that will ultimately provide a single optical surface 24.5 meters in diameter with a total collecting area of 368 square meters. Small group of Israelis and Palestinians in Jerusalem, a city of political, religious and cultural divisions, is trying to bridge a Hebrew-Arabic language gap through learning modeled on speed dating. About 20 students meet weekly at a 19th century villa and, sitting together, Jew facing Arab, they practice each other's language, guided cards spelling out simple scenarios that prompt dialogue. In the group stage of the UEFA Champions League, MALMO is set to face Chelsea at the Elida Stadium. MALMO comes into this game on the back of a 3-2 win over Sirius in the Allsvenskan. England beat Sri Lanka by 26 runs in Group 1 of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2021 in Sharjah to put one foot firmly in the semi-finals. Pakistan to face Namibia. Pakistan has registered 3 consecutive wins in the last 3 matches and will try to continue its winning streak to enter the semis. 5-time Asian medalist Shiva Thapa defeated France's Lounis Hamroy 4-1 in 63.5 kg category of the pre-quarter final at the Men's Boxing World Championship in Belgrade. India's Deepak Ghoria lost to Kazakhstan's Sakin Bibosinov, reigning Olympic and World Championship bronze medalist. The world number 1 and 9-time Australian Open champion Novak Djokovic says he is unsure if he would defend his title at the next year's Australian Open. India to face Afghanistan on Wednesday in the ICC T20 Cricket World Cup. Now, after losing their important matches against Pakistan and New Zealand, the doors of the semi-finals are almost closed for Team India. India's Prajnesh Guneswaran defeated Taro Daniels of Japan in the first round match of the Charlottesville Men's Pro Challenger tournament. Barcelona striker Sergio Aguero has been ruled out for 3 months following cardiac evaluation. The Argentine international received medical assistance on the pitch after he complained of a chest pain during Saturday's draw with Alaves in La Liga. In the Champions League tonight, Juventus will take on the field against Zenit. Juventus are leading Group H with 3 wins from 3 matches. Bollywood superstar, often called the king of Bollywood, Shah Rukh Khan or SRK, turned 56 on Tuesday. Siddharth Malhotra, star of Mission Majnu, has got a release date now. The film will hit theatres on May 13 next year. Actor Sunny Deol has started preparing for the sequel to his iconic film Gadar Ek Prem Katha in Manali, Himachal Pradesh. The filming schedule for Bollywood actor Nusrat Bharucha starrer Janhit Mein Jari, which commenced on October 26, 2021 in Gwalior, has been temporarily paused due to COVID-19. Black Western, The Harder They Fall, Halle Berry's bruised in the final season of Narcos, Mexico are among the highly anticipated movie and TV titles set to release on Netflix in November. Tony Hale and Hannah Waddingham have joined the cast of Hocus Pocus 2. The film will release next year. The Schitt's Creek alum Eugene Levy is set to host and executive produce a new travel series for Apple. The actor will take fans on the road to explore hotels and people around the world. Actor Dan Levy, widely known for his hit series Schitt's Creek, is moving from the world of sitcoms into the world of cooking shows. The star will serve as the host for the new cooking show titled The Big Brunch on HBO Max. Hollywood star Chris Pratt is all set to voice the extremely popular comic strip villain Garfield in a new animated movie. And Walt Disney Pictures on Monday released the first look at the book of Boba Fett, the second live-action Star Wars series on streaming service Disney Plus Hotstar. Well, that's all in today's edition of the Express News. Do keep watching DD India for the latest news updates. Thanks for watching.